Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving and took the opportunity to enjoy some downtime with your friends and family. As you all can see, we're quickly transitioning from Thanksgiving to the Christmas season here at the White House. This morning, the First Lady unveiled this year's decorations, and she personally selected and was involved in every detail. The theme, Time-Honored Traditions, was designed by Mrs. Trump to pay respect to 200 years of holiday traditions at the White House. During the month of December, the White House will host more than 100 open houses and numerous receptions, and more than 25,000 visitors will walk the halls taking part in public tours. Speaking of Christmas, the President is looking forward to the Senate bringing us another step closer to delivering a big, beautiful Christmas present to the American people in the form of massive tax relief. To that end, on Wednesday, the President will travel to St. Charles, Missouri to deliver an important address to the nation on the need for tax cuts and reforms. Unemployment is already at a 17-year low, wages are starting to raise, the stock market continues to hit all-time highs, and optimism is through the roof. Just imagine what's going to be possible when this plan passes. I think it will be a great lead into the Christmas season and something we can all be excited about. And with that, I will take your questions. Jeff.
Sarah, is Director Mulvaney firmly in charge of the Consumer Financial Protection Agency today, or is there still a back and forth between him and Leander English on who's actually the boss?
Director Mulvaney has taken charge of that agency, and he has the full cooperation of the staff, and appeared there this morning, and things went very well on his first day over at CFPB.
How did he handle that power struggle when he arrived there?
I think that the legal outline shows very clearly who is in charge of that agency, and both he and the White House, as well as the general counsel for CFPB, who was appointed by Condrey, said that he has the legal standing to be there and serve as the director, and we all agree with that, and again, feel very confident in moving forward. Cecilia?
Why not just fire Leander English?
Look, she's still the deputy director and has a legal standing in that capacity, but not as the director.
And do you believe, does this White House agree with Mick Mulvaney when he called this agency a joke?
Look, we think that a lot of the past practices under the previous director and under the previous administration were used more to advance political ambitions and not about protecting American consumers, which is what that's supposed to be. And our goal is to make sure we get back to that. Matthew.
Thanks, Sarah. Does the president still accept the authenticity of the Access Hollywood tape that he apologized for during the campaign?
Look, the president addressed this. This was litigated and certainly answered during the election by the overwhelming support for the president and the fact that he's sitting here in the Oval Office today. He's made his position on that clear at that time, as have the American people in his support of him.
So
John
he
Decker.
apologized for it, which would seem to acknowledge its authenticity, and that position hasn't changed?
No, like I just said, the president hasn't changed his position. I think if anything that the president questions, it's the media's reporting on that accuracy. John?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Just two questions on the CFPB. The first one has to do with whether or not you would like the courts to clear up any confusion as to who is in control of the CFPB. Of course, the lawsuit has been filed. We'd like that case to be, a ruling on that case to be decided very quickly.
Look, of course, we're aware that a lawsuit's been filed, but we're also aware that the law is extremely clear and that Director Mulvaney is the acting director here, as has been outlined by the counsel's office, by the Department of Justice, and as I said before, CFPB's own general counsel, which was appointed by Condrey. So I think that everybody is in full agreement that he's the director of this office. Trey?
Sorry,
John.
How do you envision the agency operating under Director Mulvaney?
Much better than it has in the past.
What are the functions of the agency?
Like I said, we're not going to put political ambitions as the number one priority. We're going to make sure that the consumers are actually being protected, which is what the agency was created for. Trey?
Thanks, Sarah. On the Senate race in Alabama, does President Trump plan to campaign for Roy Moore?
The president is not planning any trip to Alabama at this time. and frankly, his schedule doesn't permit him doing anything between now and Election Day.
Over the weekend, the president weighed in about this race on Twitter. Does the president does he have plans to continue his campaign against the Democrat in Alabama, Doug Jones?
Look, I'm not going to get into a back and forth from the podium. As you know, I've declined that opportunity many times. But I can tell you that the president obviously wants people who support his agenda, and certainly wants people that are looking to make America better, to improve our education system, to grow our economy, to continue to fight against ISIS, continue growing the economy. Those are the president's priorities, and he wants people in place that are going to help and support those priorities. Jonathan.
Sarah, at the event that the president just did with the Navajo code talkers, he referred to Pocahontas being in the Senate. Why did he feel the need to say something that is offensive to many people while honoring the Navajo code talkers, these genuine American
I think
heroes?
what most people find offensive is Senator Warren lying about her heritage to advance her career.
Now, she said it was a
Stephen.
racial slur. She said it was a racial slur. What is your response to that?
I think that's a ridiculous response.
Let me
Stephen.
just follow up with that, because the president was speaking at an event to honor members of the greatest generation, people who fought in World War II, who are in their 80s and 90s now. And the moment had many people online asking whether the president lacks decency. What's your response to that notion?
Look, I think the president certainly finds an extreme amount of value and respect for these individuals, which is why he brought them and invited them to come to the White House and spent time with them, recognizing them and honoring them today. So I think he is constantly showing ways to honor those individuals, and he invited them here at the White House today to meet with them and to also remind everybody about what the historic role that they played many years ago. Kristen.
Why is it appropriate for the president to use a racial slur in any context?
I don't believe that it is appropriate for him to make a racial slur
Feel
or
as though
anybody
this
else.
is a racial slur, so why is it appropriate for him to use
I think,
that?
like I said, I don't think that it is, and I don't think that was certainly not the president's intent.
Does he see
I think,
political
again, like I
value
said, I
in-
think the more offensive, the most offensive thing,
and racially?
I'm sorry?
Does he see political value in calling people out racially? Why use that term?
Look, I think that Senator Warren was very offensive when she lied about something specifically to advance her career. I don't understand why no one's asking about that question and why that isn't constantly covered. See,
You commit me to on Syria. First, on Friday, the president's call with Erdogan in Turkey, where he seemingly announced to him that it was not that the U.S. is not going to continue arming the Kurds forces fighting ISIS. He addressed certain concerns that the U.S. now seems to be backing away from its previous support of a partner in the fight against ISIS.
No, look, once we started winning the campaign against ISIS, the plan and part of the process is to always wind down support for certain groups. Now that we're continuing to crush the physical caliphate, that we're in a position to stop providing military equipment to certain groups, but that doesn't mean stopping all support of those individual groups. But that was the whole purpose, was to help defeat ISIS. We're making massive progress in that front, and once that was moved forward, that was always been the plan, and that hasn't changed.
Quickly on Syria, is it still a policy of the United States that Assad must go, or is there a sort of more of a containment policy sort of emerging out of the White House?
We don't have any changes in our position at this time. Jeff?
Back to the Access Hollywood tape, you said that he made his position clear at the time. He said, at the time, he said, I said it, I was wrong, I apologize. But you just said the media's reporting of its accuracy. So can I ask again, does the president acknowledge saying that was on the Access Hollywood tape last year?
Look, I said that he'd already addressed it, and that we didn't have any updates to that. I said what he didn't like and what he found troubling were the accounts that are being reported now.
But what counts are being reported now that weren't reported last year? What counts are you talking about?
The ones that are current that he's questioning.
Following Monsi's question, so what is the official policy on Assad's position? Should he stay or go?
Look, as I just said, we don't have any changes into past statements that we've already made on that front. Nothing new. Blake?
CFPB. Does the White House believe that Leandra English is unqualified for that position?
We believe that Director Mulvaney is the right person at this time to lead that agency, and that's why he's over there.
If you
believe that he's the right person. I guess the follow-up then is, what does the White House or what does the president have against Leandra English in that spot?
Look, I'm not saying that we do have anything against her. I'm saying that we want Director Mulvaney to lead this agency, and that's a decision that the president is allowed to make and one that he's made and has legal authority to do so. John?
Thank you, Sarah. 2 questions about personnel. The president's appointment of Governor Brownback for the ambassador-at-large slot dealing with religious liberty has been stalled, and the Senate has yet to confirm him.
Sarah, what would you say to consumers who are concerned about somebody who once called the agency that he's now ostensibly leading, Mick Mulvaney calling the agency a sick, sad joke? What would you say to consumers who are concerned about somebody like that now ostensibly leading this agency that was designed to protect them?
I think that consumers should be glad that they finally have somebody in there that actually wants to fight for consumers and not fight for their own political ambitions, which we've seen in the previous leadership, and which will be a very different change under Director Mulvaney. David?
Sarah, at this point, Senator Al Franken has allowed that there may be more women coming forward. He doesn't know that there are, but he said there might be more women coming forward. At what point does the president condemn him? How many women does it take? How many accusations does it take before the president says Al Franken should resign? And is he holding back because of some unresolved accusations against himself?
No, I think it's, look, the president's not going to weigh in on every single matter like this. Look, every single day we've got people from the media, from Hollywood, from members of Congress that have allegations brought against them, and we think that this should go through a due process, and that's something that Senator Franken should first be the one to address, and not for the president to weigh in every single time one of these accusations comes up. But there should be a process that we go through, and we want to make sure that that's completed.
You said with the Access Hollywood tape that the people have spoken, the president's president, so that's kind of been litigated. Do you think that
I think the president also addressed it at the time.
Do you think the fact that the president has been elected, that's all been litigated, means that the public believes the women who have accused him in the past of sexual misconduct are wrong?
I think that the president's been very clear that he denies any of those allegations having taken place.
Thank you, Sarah. Just to follow up on you saying that the CFPB has not looked out for consumers, can you point to some specific cases where the CFPB did not act in the best interest of consumers?
Yeah, we have a list of those. I'll be happy to provide them after the briefing today.
Some now?
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me, but I have read multiple things. I'll be happy to provide it to you after the briefing.
Separately, over the weekend, the president went after CNN International. Today, he called out CNN in a tweet. In the conversations that the president has had with Rupert Murdoch, has he ever brought up CNN or talked about the AT&T Time Warner merger?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I know of.
Sarah.
I'll take one last question. Veronica?
Sarah, thank you. The last time the president met with congressional leaders, he surprised a lot of people making the deal, if you will, with, he came out and said Chuck and Nancy. It seemed to take Republicans by surprise. Should we expect something like that out of tomorrow? Should Republicans feel anxiety or concern leading into tomorrow's meeting that he may, if you will, throw them under the bus, if you will, leading into tomorrow's meeting?
Look, I don't think the president threw anybody under the bus, but if the president, I'm not going to get ahead of that meeting, but if the president can make a deal and any of those Democrats would like to come on board and support tax reform, I think that's something we'd certainly welcome and be happy to celebrate with them after, as my guess is most of the Republican senators would also be excited about that as well. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Protocol office involved in this Native American.
Broadcasting, sorry, we're just getting on the air here for the post show, and I want to apologize. We had a little bit of a power surge which caused the stream to freeze for a couple minutes during the press briefing. So we apologize for that, but we're here for the post show. We want to talk about the briefing and get your comments on the White House press briefing. Write to me at @Lookner. What did you think of the press briefing, of the questions and answers? Anything specific that Sarah Sanders talked about that you liked, that you didn't like? Give me a shout. Let me know what you thought of it. At Lookner on Twitter, at LOOKNER. So there were a couple questions. I think, the most asked about things were A, what's going on with this situation at the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the CFPB. And we did a stream on this last night, but in case you missed our stream, right now there are two people who claim to be the acting director of the CFPB. There is Leandra English, who was the deputy director, and she says that she should have automatically taken over as interim director when Richard Cordray left office last Friday. She said as deputy director, she should have automatically taken over, according to the law that created CFPB. And there is Mick Mulvaney, who President Trump appointed as the interim director, and he said he had the authority to do this, or the White House said President Trump had the authority to appoint an interim director, an acting director, by I believe it's the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. So we have two people who claim that they are the acting director of the CFPB right now. Mick Mulvaney did show up to work. Sarah Sanders in the briefing said that, I have a quote on this. She said, she said he has the full cooperation of the staff. She says things went very well on Mick Mulvaney's first day there. And she said that she believed, like the Justice Department, the White House, and the chief lawyer for the CFPB, she believes that President Trump did indeed have the authority to appoint Mick Mulvaney as the acting director. Now, Leandra English, who's the deputy director, who thinks she should be the acting director, she filed a lawsuit last night so that with the intention that this lawsuit, when it all plays out, will result in her being named the acting director, because she claims President Trump didn't have the authority to name Mick Mulvaney the acting director. So that's all going on. But it seems like, at least for now, Mick Mulvaney is there and at least somewhat in charge, but it's hard to say right now. So let me know what you think about that at Lookner on Twitter. I'm going to read your comments in a minute. The other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick was there were a bunch of questions on President Trump's Pocahontas joke about Elizabeth Warren that he said during the Navajo Code Talkers event, honoring Navajo Code Talkers at the White House just before the press briefing. And I'm actually going to show you a quick clip of that. That's what I want to do before I get to your comments. So if you give me 1 second here, let me pull it up here. All right, I think I have it on the screen. Oops, hold on 1 second. Here it is. So this is what happened today in the White House ceremony. Oops, hang on, let me get this. There we go. Let me play this for you.
Very, very special people. You were here long before any of us were here. Although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas. But you know what? I like you because you are special. You are.
So again, President Trump said they have somebody who's been there a long time in D.C., and he said a representative they call Pocahontas. It was a joke about Elizabeth Warren. So there's been a lot of talk about Twitter on this and the social media as to whether this was offensive. Now, Elizabeth Warren came out today and said she thought it was inappropriate for President Trump to use a racial slur during this ceremony. Sarah Sanders was asked a couple questions about it. A couple things Sarah Sanders said in the press briefing is she said, first of all, she said it was ridiculous for Elizabeth Warren to say that it was racial slur. And Sarah Sanders also said the most offensive thing is Elizabeth Warren lying about her heritage to advance her career. So those were a couple of the main things asked about, but there was some other stuff asked about too. But we want to hear from you. What do you think of the press briefing? Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me know what you thought. I'll read your comments on the air. Thanks so much to the moderators for being with us today. We got on the website, we got Common Sense and Glenn O, and on YouTube we got Webster and Real Frank and JC And am I missing anyone there? I might have gotten all of them. Guinevere is there. So thank you, moderators. And if you like our coverage and you want to support Right Side Broadcasting, we are viewer supported. Your donations are what keeps us on the air. So if you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting, you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. All right, I want to check my messages and see if any of you had any thoughts on the press briefing today. Matt says, what made so many people bring up the Access Hollywood tapes? I don't get what that has to do with anything lately. So I did see, Matt, there were a couple questions about the Access Hollywood tapes. And by the way, let me just slide over a little bit. I think I'm a little off center. I'm not in my main studio today, so trying to... All right, I think that's better. Anyways, regarding the Access Hollywood tape of President Trump making the remarks about grabbing women that came out during the campaign, right before the briefing came on, I had CNN in the background, and CNN did some story which I saw right before the briefing, which the headline of the story was like, is President Trump questions Access Hollywood authenticity tape? But I hadn't heard that story before, so let me look it up and see. That kind of came out of the blue for me too. So let me see if I can find any more background as to why that was being asked about today. Give me one sec here. Here we go. So this is the story that came out today. ABC News confirms that in recent weeks, President Trump has questioned the authenticity of the Access Hollywood tape to his advisors and a GOP senator, as first reported in the New York Times. So that is why I believe that was asked about today, because the story came out that President Trump has questioned the authenticity of the Access Hollywood tape, according to his advisors and a GOP senator. This was reported by the New York Times and ABC News. So that is your answer as to why the tape was asked about. Sarah Sanders, I didn't catch her whole answer. We were kind of dealing with some technical things here, but one thing I heard her say was that his position has not changed on the Access Hollywood tape. I don't know if she got more specific than that. I apologize for that. We had some technical stuff we were dealing with here, and I had some technical stuff I was dealing with here. Let's see. Okay, but thank you for writing in. A good question, Matt. Sam Miller, let's see. Sam Miller says President Trump was being kind. You're saying when he made his remark about Elizabeth Warren, the Pocahontas remark. Sam Miller says, in Massachusetts, we call her missing. She's never here. The only time we do see her is when she is campaigning. Dizzy Lizzie always on a plane to someplace else. That is from Sam Miller. David Opt says, why did Richard Cordray quit as the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau? This is a good question. Now, first of all, let me say this. I believe he was serving a 5-year term and was not expected to be reappointed. So let me just call this up here, though, and make sure. So he was not, he quit, but he was going to be leaving soon anyway. Let's see here. Now, Wikipedia says Cordray left the agency in November 2017 amid widespread speculation that he would declare his candidacy for governor of Ohio. So that is one theory why he left early. That's one theory. See if I can find anything else here. This is from the Columbus Dispatch. Let's see what they say. It's an article about Cordray. Is this going to give us any background? No background in this article. Anyways, so that's the one quick thing I can find for you, is that he might want to run for the governor of Ohio. Let's see if this says anything here. This article from Cleveland.com says he resigned from the CFPB opening the door for a gubernatorial run next year. Yeah, so he's ending his 5-year term early. But at the same time, I think it's important to note that his 5-year term ended next year and that he was not expected to be reappointed by President Trump anyway. So, okay, good question though. Unseal the Deals writes in, the Trump questions Access Hollywood tape is fake news without a source, meant to drag Trump into the current narrative regarding allegations against men. Sanders didn't bite as usual. So we are taking your comments here about the Sarah Sanders White House press briefing that we just saw. If you want to write in, you can write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Be sure, if you want to know about when we're coming on the air with our breaking news videos, we do them a lot at all hours. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell to get notified. And another reminder, if you didn't see it, we did a very late night live stream last night talking about what's going on at the CFPB, about the competing acting directors, the two people, the fact that there are two people who claim that they're acting director. We did a whole stream on that. So if you haven't seen it and you want to watch it, go to our YouTube page at Right Side Broadcasting and you can see it there. It's also on our Facebook page as well. You can find it. I think the title is something like CFPB official sues to prevent Trump's pick from becoming director or something like that. It is CFPB official sues to prevent Trump's choice of director. That's what it's called. So you can watch it on YouTube or on Facebook. Thanks again to the moderators who've been moderating today during the broadcast. And again, we are viewer supported. If you like our broadcasts, feel free to donate because that's what keeps us on the air. We can't stay on the air without donations, so we really appreciate them. You can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat to donate, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Thank you to Jake Seal so much, who's been producing today. And Joe is a little ill today. We hope Joe feels better. Joe's been sick, so we want everybody send your good vibes to Joe Seals so he can feel better. Unseal the Deals writes in, sad we have no HGTV White House Christmas special. Not surprising, I guess, given Trump's religious bent. Was there an HGTV special for the Obama White House? Let me look that up. So there was, I don't know if this was a special. I'm seeing White House Christmas. It looks like this is a 2012 HGTV page. Sorry for the barking, by the way. We are in our alternate studio while I'm out of town, so we get barking once in a while. I wonder, this White House Christmas thing, it looks like maybe there was some sort of HGTV special in 2012. I can't confirm that, however. Sharon R. says, so an advisor or a senator is a leaker. Surprise, surprise. So what you're saying, Sharon, is that this story I was referring to before, that, hold on, I will show you the story. This story here about President Trump questioning the authenticity of the Access Hollywood tape to his advisors and a GOP senator. You're saying, well, if that story came out, either one of his advisors or a senator, somebody was in the room, or maybe there's someone else in the room when this happened, but somebody on the inside must have leaked this story, and you're saying you're not surprised, you think somebody is undermining the president by doing this. Thank you for writing in, Sharon. Karen L. Berry is saying, who is paying for this lawsuit by the deputy director? So that's a good question, Karen. The lawsuit being filed by the deputy director, Leandra English of the CFPB, who filed a lawsuit which is a suit that says President Trump actually doesn't have the right to name the acting director and that Leandra English should be the acting director. She's not using government lawyers. She's using private lawyers to file the suit. but at the same time, I can't confirm who is paying for it. Is she personally paying for it? Is someone else paying for it? It's a good question. I don't know. And I don't know if it's possible that we have I don't think there's any kind of Freedom of Information Act for private lawsuits. I don't think anyone can force her to give up that information. I don't know if that information is even accessible. Maybe it just can be kept private. So I don't know. It's a good question, though. Let's see. Reagan Better says, not much talk about Al Franken from the White House after his press conference. Oh, was there, I was running around. I've been out of town and I'm dealing with some family stuff today before I'm actually heading back to Atlanta tomorrow. So I have been a little kind of, I haven't been as sort of following everything this morning as I normally would be. So let me look this up. I didn't realize there was an Al Franken press conference. Let's see. Now maybe, let's see. I see that there's some clips of it, so I'll have to watch this a little later on. I apologize. I've been doing family stuff today because again I'm back for the holiday and I'm going to head back tomorrow to Atlanta. So I apologize that we did not catch the Al Franken conference today. I'll have to look it up. I wonder if I can find any kind of summary here about it real quick. So here we have this article from Business Insider, and it says Franken, oops. Here we go. Let's see. Hang on a second. Fine. Ad blocker is off. Can you now please show me the article I wanted to see? There we go. With the dumb ad. See, I turn off the ad blocker and this happens. Forget it, ad blocker is going back on. I just won't read your article, dumb Business Insider. No, now it's playing, okay. So, if you're gonna make me turn off my ad blocker, don't have crazy obtrusive ads that make me unable to read the article. So, it says, Franken in the press conference today said he's trying to take responsibility by apologizing for allegedly groping several women and forcibly kissing one. He's refusing to resign his seat and said he cannot speculate as to whether other women will come forward with new allegations against him. It was a short press conference. He said he was tremendously sorry. I know I've let a lot of people down. He will begin working to rebuild trust of the people of Minnesota as well as his staff and colleagues. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, would any woman come forward with an allegation like this, I would have said no, Franken said, and I cannot speculate. And so I cannot speculate. This has been a shock and has been extremely humbling. All right, so it was a short press conference. Thank you for letting me know about that, Reagan Better. Garrett says, Sarah Huckabee Sanders referred to previous CFPB director using his position mainly for political reasons. What did he really accomplish? So one thing that, I'm glad you brought this up. One thing Sarah Sanders said about the CFPB, she was asked about, I think she was asked something like, will there be any changes at the CFPB? And she said, I have it written down here. Where is it here? I did have it here. We think that a lot of the past practices of the CFPB were used more to advance political ambitions than protecting American consumers. Now, I'm not sure when she says that, does she mean that the director, Richard Cordray, was looking to advance his personal career for when he ran for a different office? Or did she mean something like, well, people were at the CFPB were putting their own political biases before the goal of protecting American consumers? It's interesting. So now that you mentioned this quote, when I see it says advanced political ambitions, she might be referring to Richard Cordray, because as we've seen, there are reports that he resigned. There's speculation that he resigned from the CFPB so he could run for governor. So, in terms of what he did. So there are, I don't have the list right in front of me, but I do know that CFPB has put in new regulations on financial institutions, on banks, on payday lenders, and so they would probably argue that they've put in regulations which help consumers. But if you want to know, what they did, you or I would have to go up and get a detailed list of all the different things the CFPB did, which I do not have in here right now, and I do not have in front of me. But thank you for the question, Garrett. Hey, Christine Bestjen just made a donation. Thank you so much, Christine. Christine says she thinks that everyone should be calling their congressman or woman and demanding that Franken and Conyers resign immediately, and also call McSnurdle's office. Who is McSnurdle? I don't know. McConnell? Is that who you're referring to? But thank you, Christine, for the donation. Those donations are what keep us on the air. You can do what Christine did if you want to support Right Side Broadcasting. Go to the YouTube chat, go to the bottom, click on the $ at the bottom, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. We are going to be on a little while longer taking your comments here at Right Side Broadcasting about the White House press briefing and about what's going on today in the world. So if you have comments you want me to read them on the air, write to me on Twitter @Lookner. You can also follow me at @Lookner if you like breaking news. I cover breaking news all day and evening, except when I'm asleep. And you can follow Right Side Broadcasting at @RSB Network. Also, our producer Jacob Seals, you can follow him at @JacobRSBN Music. Joe Seals, Right Side CEO, you can follow him at Joe Seals, or is it @Joseph Seals? I always forget. Let's see. @Joe Seals. And our head moderator, Jude Seals, you can follow at @RSBN Moderator. Webster writes in, he had a comment he wanted me to read. Please help stuff the RSBN Christmas tree stocking. Go to rsbn.tv/donate. The thing is, if the RSBN Christmas tree stocking, all we'll do is take whatever in there and put it towards keeping us on the air for longer. So that's really what it is. Thank you, Webster. David Opp says, you liked hearing the dog barking in the background. Sometimes keep it. Well, once we get back to the normal studio in Atlanta, that won't keep happening. But I'm glad you didn't hate it. Let me just check my email here. Greg Jackson sent a message. Greg says, with so many superficial questions, it's an indication of how many in that room have little expertise in the issues they are to report on. Are they even capable of thinking on a higher level of understanding? Now I'm just looking over here. Thank you, Greg, for the message. I'm looking over here to see if there are any other things about the briefing I wanted to mention. Now, there was a question in the briefing that said something like, the guy said, no one's had dual dual positions like Mick Mulvaney now has since before World War I. Now, the positions he has are Director of Office of Management and Budget and Acting Director, not Permanent Director, but Acting Director, Interim Director, if you will, of the CFPB. Now, I'm not sure about that World War I statistic. I would need to do some more research about that. Let's see here. So I thought that was interesting. A reporter said, why doesn't the president just fire Leandra English, who is the deputy director who is suing to prevent President Trump's choice from becoming the acting director of the CFPB? And Sarah Sanders said, she's still the deputy director of the CFPB and has a legal standing in that capacity, but not as the director. Now, that doesn't really answer the question of why not fire her, but I'm guessing if President Trump was to fire Leandra English, it'd be this huge political uproar and would give, if there's media non-favorable to Trump, it would certainly give them a big talking point that they would talk about a lot. But that's not to say he won't do it. Look, I could see it happening. I could see President Trump firing her. It's not to say he wouldn't. I mean, he fired Sally Yates when she was acting attorney general. But, I'm guessing there are political reasons it's not going to happen. Also, President Sarah Sanders confirmed something we'd heard earlier today, that President Trump is not planning to travel to Alabama to campaign for Roy Moore. He's not planning to travel to Alabama to campaign for Roy Moore. So we heard that as well. I can't show this Unseal the Deals because it's a YouTube clip, but you sent me a clip of the Laura Bush HGTV White House Christmas, and you also said there's a recent Obama HGTV White House Christmas. But somebody had written before saying they didn't think there was going to be a Trump White House Christmas on HGTV. They were commenting on that. Thank you, Unseal the Deals. I can't show that because we're not allowed to take YouTube clips from one channel and show them on our channel, because then we're taking somebody else's YouTube stuff and making it ours, so, which YouTube doesn't like for understandable reasons. So, I think at this point I've gotten to your messages, and I think we're going to wrap up the stream. Just a quick heads up. So I am going to be traveling back to Atlanta tomorrow, where I can go back to the regular studio there in Atlanta. And but tomorrow I will be traveling a lot of the day. So if there is kind of breaking news stuff, I will tweet out about it on my Twitter @Lookner, but I won't be able to come on the air at least until the evening. But tonight, if there's news, I'll do my best to get on the air about it. And if you want to know when we're coming on the air to cover news, again, can happen all hours. We did it last night, I think at 2:30 in the morning. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting, on Twitter at RSB Network, at RSB Network on Twitter. And I'm on Twitter at @Lookner. By the way, I know there were some problems today with Firefox on YouTube doing live streams. I know here, if I was on Firefox, I could not watch either our live stream or the White House's live stream. So if you're getting those errors, if you keep getting those errors after today, feel free to shoot us a message at feedback@rsbn.tv and let us know, because we want to let YouTube know that's happening if they don't know it's happening. But hopefully it'll be soon fixed. Thank you again to Jacob for your producing skills, Jacob Seals, and to Christine Bestien for your donation to support Right Side Broadcasting and to keep us on the air. You can always go to the bottom of the YouTube chat and click the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Thank you to our moderators. Barbara Braley Webster was there today. JC, Guinevere, Rio Frank, and Common Sense and Gleno on the website. And thank you to everybody just who's been watching today on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch if we're there. Thank you, people. I see some people saying thanks in the chat room. We got Frank Barrett, and who else is there? MAGA President Trump, History B, Jamie B, Renee Miete. President Trump is going to be doing a speech on the tax bill on Wednesday, so we will bring that to you. Sarah Sanders said that. Let's see here. Who else? Frank Barrett. A couple of you said travel safe. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara, for saying that. Donna Maria, thank you. Bud 420, thank you. Christine says, I skipped $5 at lunch at DQ today to donate today. Thank you, Christine, but we want you to eat lunch. Don't go without food for us. Light Switch, thank you. Case Critters, thank you. Elysia, thank you. Webster and Linda, thank you. And again, we hope Joe feels better soon. Joe's a little under the weather today. So good vibes to Joe. Okay, so we're going to finish this up now. Thank you all for watching this broadcast. If there's news later today, we will be on the air covering it, if within reason, because I'm still dealing with some travel-related stuff and family stuff tonight. But tomorrow, we'll be traveling back to Atlanta. Look forward to getting back in the customary studio and bringing you more news coverage. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. For Jake Seals, our producer today, and from all of us at Right Side Broadcasting, have a great day, and we will see you soon at Right Side Broadcasting.